Hello, it's Gina here. Hello to all you soul inspired beings out there, those of you waking up to yourself, living life from the heart, living more soul connected in whatever way that means to you. I'm coming here live in our group because I feel like it's been a while since I've just done a general read, and I really felt called to do that based on things that I've been experiencing as well. That being said, I will continue to do the Christ consciousness days, 55 days of Christ consciousness. Later today, that'll get uploaded. Again, so I pulled these cards off camera from the deck of Kyle Gray, Gateways of Light and Activation Oracle Guidebook. So the reason why I pulled from this deck today, I'm going to let a little more light in. It's been hot, so I've closed everything up. And how interesting and very fitting for using things as a metaphor, let a little more light in, right? Yeah, we're talking about light activation. So as I pulled these cards, I'm like, what is being activated? What light activation is occurring? Especially after the lead up to the energies of summer solstice that were felt by many of us. I would say everybody feels them, but some of us are more conscious of it. Others of us it's more subconscious. They don't realize what's happening. That all depends on your level of awakening to yourself and all that is. And anyway, I'm moving around here, making things more comfortable. Because, that could be a metaphor too. How can you make yourself more comfortable during this time of expansion? This time of expansion. I don't know about some of you, but I felt such a big opening of the heart chakra and more energy coming into our being and light being. But also with that, I had, those of you that followed me on Instagram, I had a couple posts and talked about our third eye being activated and expanded, and the soul star chakra really waking up, and purification needing to be done there for some of us, because when we hold anger, when we hold lack of forgiveness, whether it's in this lifetime or another, and others hold that against our soul, it limits us from moving forward. It limits you from doing your soul purpose without limits, right? It can, because it's an energetic cord that gets connected to your through your being energetically. So how might you begin to take maybe a self audit? Maybe those of you that do guided meditations for yourself or breath work, and where you can scan the body, scan your chakras, your energetic centers, and just know it's not just in one place, because your light body is, it's a system that is fully connected, and it's changing very fast. The word that came to mind as I was taking notes on these cards I pulled, which I'll show in a minute, was convergence. A convergence of energies is happening within your body right now, energetically, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and it's manifesting in this earthly plane in physical form. So the physical and your etheric energetic bodies are converging, right? So while we still are expanding, right? And so some of us may look, because we're human, we have a mind, we need a way to kind of receive the information in a way that our mind can receive it, even though our inner heart and deeper knowing understands it. Our soul understands it. And we're going, oh, okay, got it. But some of us still need the assistance of maybe a depiction of some kind to bridge, to act as a bridge or a puzzle piece to connect it, right? And so, excuse my messy notes, but let me see if I can write it clearer. Okay, and I'm just going to clump them together, lower chakras and then higher chakras. Okay. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Vesica Pisces image. It's very common in the Piscean age, related to Jesus, twin fish. Oftentimes that is depicted as the horizontal plane this way, and then you see them overlap in the center there, Vesica Pisces. It acts as a portal or gateway. Now when we relate that to our body, we have that throughout the body, right? Like your nostrils, same shape, your mouth, same shape, your the vagina, the tip of the penis, the openings, the gateways, they're all portals, the ears, right? They're all portals showing up in the physical body, but they're still portals of energy. And think about creation, right? If those portals are closed, you have trouble creating. If energetically there's a block to creation, you have the potential to manifest physically trouble creating in your life, whether that is to conceive a child and actually bring birth, like life, into this world. It can also relate to building a business, creating a business, projects, your communication, your heart might also be affected and blocked, right? It's not isolated to just the sacral chakra or the root or lower chakras, right? The system is entirely connected. So for those of you that are harmonizing your aspects, your energetic aspects and qualities, those of you that are, because with this energy of the solstice that came through was also the opportunity for all of you and myself to release all of the old belief systems and ways of being and the things that we tell ourselves and the old constructs of doing things that just really don't benefit the whole, right? Because we're coming further into unity consciousness and oneness, and that also means everything we do benefits the whole. But you're also doing these things through love, through your love of doing, through your love of being light, through your love of being light. So it doesn't matter if like you are a baker for a living. Are you doing it with love? And then that love spreads to everyone who buys your baked goods or that you gift them to, or maybe you're a homemaker and you love to bake, right? You share that through love. Or maybe you're someone that likes to give and create gifts and you share that through love without any expectation of anything other than you just love giving. And out of that love and no attachment to what's coming back to you, because you're just doing it through love and that act of surrender, because you're coming through the deepest part of your heart, that abundance and giving and generosity and grace comes back to you. So you'll notice these three letters, the G's, right? Because we were earlier today, as I was preparing, I pulled a card on the throat chakra, the Temple of Truth. The Temple of Truth. The throat chakra is known to be associated with the note of G. So if you're bringing in sound, you may want to connect and tone with the note of G to bring harmony into your throat chakra, to open it up. Feel and take notice where it's been constricted. Right? I know for me, what prompted me on, I was going through the past few weeks since I've been back really weak from Shasta, and I was recognizing, wow, I came with so much light and joy and happiness, and other people are noticing I'm radiating while I was experiencing, hi, thanks for those reactions, while I was experiencing, hi Remy, I'm good, thank you, while I was experiencing, a lot of old beliefs coming back up and recognizing my old pattern that was trying to fit into other people's construct in this, that I have to be under someone else's wing to do my creations, that kind of putting my way of doing stuff second. And so now, in beautiful peace, as you come into the Temple of Truth, and let's take in this card one at a time. because the overarching piece is we will connect to the Akashic, oh, excuse me, that's the angelic. We'll connect to the Akashic gateway or stargates within you, because that holds all your information. You can see the higher picture. So literally, as these cards jumped out, it came with these two paired together, Temple of Truth, and the third eye activation. Okay, third eye activation. And take a look at both those cards. They're acting together. All these things are acting together. And then the Akashic Stargate came out on its own, and I'll just show you for right now, and we'll come back to it. Okay, and then the angelic frequency and Lemurian codes came out. Now, all these things that have in common is the heart activation. The heart activation and bringing in and forming what many of us refer to as the new earth. And, well, we just need the term. Right? What are we moving towards? We're moving toward love. We're moving toward embodying love, because your essence is love. The light of your heart is love. And then it embodies so much more. It encapsulates so much of your being. So much of your being. So as you go through life, as I'm talking here, I was reminded when my mom said, just kill them with kindness. As I'm sure many of you heard some things growing up like that phrase, kill them with kindness. Even yourself, right? Those aspects where you want to dig your heels in and just be like, do something because you can, and it bothered you and you were irritated by someone else's behavior. When you come back to the love and the kindness, it de-escalates anything within you, and you're no longer imprinting yourself with the attachment of your emotions and how you felt. It doesn't mean you won't feel these things, but you're going through them in a much different way than ever before. So to be in your truth means that throat chakra must be cleared. So you, meaning, pay attention when you're not in your authenticity and it's inhibiting your self-expression. Right? Inhibiting your self-expression. So what I recognize that my deeper pattern, and it was brought up again the past week or two, trying to fit in other people's boxes, trying to fit in their construct. And I don't need to do that anymore. If I'm being authentic with myself, that means I'm voicing exactly what my needs are. Excuse me, a little moth. Exactly what my needs are, where I'm going, and what I want to do from the highest place within myself. From love, from clarity, with peace, with direction, with focus. Okay? Third eye activation. As you being activated, the soul star is waking up. There's a lot of wisdom and clearing that needs to be there, but we're accessing that more and more every day, whether you realize it or not. The third eye activation typically is depicted at the brow. It's your inner vision, it's clear seeing and sight. Now, when you're not activating, when you are not making choices that are in your authenticity with clarity and vision, because the downloads are always there. You have the potential to feel constriction in your throat, constriction in your heart, perhaps tightness in your stomach. Okay, so I'll give an example for me. I was wanting to do a workshop at this place that I've been doing, performing sound baths at. And the offer to me, or response was like, yes, this one aligns and blah, 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 right? But the construct in which they organize no longer fits me, right? No longer fits me. I was putting my work beneath theirs, trying to fit my work into their construct. In some ways, it can work if I'm willing to go, oh, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'll just teach this, in this way, fit in their construct. But there was enough inside me that was disrupted and like angered what came up. And I realized, oh, wow, I am trying to fit in someone else's box again and trying to get what I envision through, because I had a response back on a suggestion to augment or change their suggestion, and I just realized, oh my God, I'm trying to fit myself into their structure, right? Versus, here's what I offer, here's my rates. How would you like to have me as a guest to teach for you in your existing community or group that you've already created, right? I'm not coming in trying to create a new group. I'm not coming in I just want to come in and teach for those that want to expand their daily practices, understand their light body and how to work with it more, right? That came out clear. I don't have any constriction in that. It's very clear vision. There's no like, oh, who's going to register? Here's this percentage, blah, blah, blah. No, here's my rates. Here's my fee. It's basically your yes or no or some little negotiation, right? You know, because there's room to negotiate things. And but I decided to kind of leave that part out as far as here's what I'm willing to offer. I decided let me just leave it as the continued collaboration of doing sound baths the way it is right now. And so I can focus on my workshop and offer it the way that I would like to offer it. And then perhaps I may revisit it at a later date saying, hey, this was my thought. If you want me at a retreat, if you want me to facilitate for your group that you have created, feel free to reach out and we can talk about my services. Just like that. So much more clear, so much more beneficial to those of you that are creating, I feel. It's really being mindful, even if you're choosing to be in someone else's construct, be aware of how your body's responding to it. Are you in contraction, resistance? Is something not sitting right? And today a friend of mine sent me this because I've been sharing with her that I'm just so like, all these different things are coming up, right? And so I share this with you because if I'm feeling these things, because I'm working with old patterning that's letting go, because I'm stepping through this threshold that the solstice has brought us. I don't want to take these old patterns with me. I want to live through love. I want to be in my passion. I want to do the things that feel easy through my body. My sensory body is going to tell me, and trusting my intuition, because that was knocking very loudly through my thoughts, through my guts, then we feel it in the body, through my throat. Like even now the throat's starting to tight up, being like, yeah, there's something there. So a friend of mine sent me this, and she even bolds it, and she channels things for people, and she's a really powerful woman in her own right, in her own alignment with source and her I am presence. And when you get into that place, there's no room for living for someone else in the way they expect you to live. There's only room to live in your heart's desire in alignment with your I am presence. There's nothing to forgive. There's only love there. You only show up through love, and that begins to span out into your relationships. So everything that is not in resonance with where you currently are right now falls away. It's going to fall away. Okay, and it's not about being good or bad. It's just, if it's not in resonance where you are right now in your growth, it's going to fall away because you're complete there, and your soul is moving on to the next phase or lesson or alignment as you are moving back into more alignment within your soul and your I am presence and source energy. Okay, and that shows up in your life. Right? And so for me, that has been showing up left and right, even to the point of old people in my life, literally running into them face to face where I've left. Right? At the grocery store, again today at the beach, where it's just like, wow. But to be able to let go, even though it may bubble up some things in me, it's almost like if someone ran their hand in the water and stirred up the sediment. Right? That's an opportunity to clear my water, to clear my emotions, right? Water is emotions, to clear my heart and to be with love. To be with love. to clear my higher heart and throat, right? Because with the thymus chakra, or the higher heart connects to the thymus gland. And so some of you may be experiencing tightness in the chest, respiratory, like even physical tightness in the muscles in the back, the mid-thoracic area. Those are areas tied to the higher heart. Yeah, it can even be the throat, right? Back of the neck. Okay, the back of the neck that, some of us are not speaking to things, and it affects you physically. So pay attention to that. So here's what I was sent today, and to read it slowly, and I'm going to share this with you. Imagine, and this is for all of us, if you're feeling like you're struggling to create what you're desiring and your heart truly wants, that's in alignment with divine source, because part of this too is your act of surrender to the divine will of light that's within you and our source, and really the source connection that we are all a part of, to live through that energy. Okay. And to recognize you really have no control over your life. You have free will. You do have free will and choice. But when you surrender to that will, the will, W-I-L-L, of light within you and the source connection of all that is, and to be in a harmonious relationship with that, and to begin to walk life through a totally different lens, that is really powerful, and your life will occur with more grace and ease, because your choices are going to be aligned with, is this for the greater good of all, and my presence and myself. And imagine, here's what she sends me. I'll hold it up. And she's actually just texting me something else right now, and it might be important, so I'll check it in a sec. Always dreamed of what you've always dreamed of, must tell you. Hold on. I'm a Libra, and this is a reader that I'm very impressed with. I hope you listen, because it feels like a reading for all of us. Okay, website Libra, big changes, what you've always dreamt of, must tell you. Okay. Anyhow, that may be something I can refer to you guys later. But here we go, back to this that I got from her today. Imagine your mind is like a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. You get to choose what seeds you plant in your garden. You can plant seeds of positivity, love, and abundance, or you can plant seeds of negativity, fear, and shame. You can spend time trying to take care of everyone else's garden, or you can work on making yours beautiful and attract other beautiful people into your garden. What seeds are you planting? What seeds are you planting? And so when I read this a couple times today, I sat with what was currently in my life happening. And I realized this was the common theme over and over, not just now, but in my life. Trying to show up and be my 100% plus and give to someone else's garden. Forgetting, how is it feeding me? Even if I had joy doing it, right? And that can go all the way back from me playing sports, and I was an elite athlete and playing on teams, and people wanted me, and playing 100% and having I wouldn't say false promises, but promises made. Because when you're good at something, people make promises and they oftentimes don't follow through. When something happens and they're like, you're cut, you're gone. Right? We see it in the workforce too. A good employee kind of starts to turn south, but nobody cares enough. These are people that become your family because you spend most of the time with them, to go, hey, what's going on, and take a deeper look, right? Because they're only tending to their garden and their goals, and if you don't fit in that anymore, you're gone. So this is about tending to your garden in the most positive way available to you, to create your abundance and attract those in your life that match and are resonance with that, right? Now, again, there's no wrong choice. This is where the Akashic Stargate comes in. There's no wrong choice. But when you align with your purpose, there are crossroads that happen. And there's no wrong path in those crossroads. So I know for me, I feel like I'm at another crossroads right now. And there's no wrong path. I could choose to keep trying to do the same thing, and I'll still experience the same thing and get frustrated and be like, why can't I just lift off? Why can't my work lift off? I know people want it. I know they need it. They're asking me all the time if I have workshops. I have plenty of ideas for them, and then now it's like, just do it. Because it will bring me joy, because I love doing it. I love teaching people, and I love seeing them grow. That's the one thing I know I've always liked. I love seeing people grow, and then they light up, and support them to do that, and to step into their empowerment. Their empowerment. Okay? Because all this right now, energetically, physically, manifestation, your thoughts, is about you coming into your full embodied empowerment, self-empowerment, where you're no longer seeking the support of others, and the collaboration is taking on different shape. Where when people reach out to you to collaborate, they understand and are communicating even in a more effective way, right? More effective way. And that even goes for me, where I could be more clear in my expression and communicating too. But I'm also going to honor my work and the value of it. And if someone says no, they're saying no, and that's where I go, thank you, God. Because I even had a dream where some things got played out, because we work things out in our dream state. Energetically, we work things out in our dream state. And scenarios happen. And it was this interesting thing where someone was saying, no, you work for me, and trying to put their arm back around me. And I blocked it in the dream and said, no, I work for no one except the light, except what my purpose is. Right? And it was very interesting to be like, no. And the energies in it were very interesting. And that's it was an old paradigm working its way out of my psyche, out of my body, out of my cells. And then my friend sent me this. And I sat with it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been trying to fit in someone else's garden instead of growing my own. Now, it doesn't mean I can't visit their garden. Doesn't mean that at all. But where am I in joy when I visit their garden? And where perhaps I might be in conflict when I visit their garden? Where is it bringing me joy to my own garden? Or is it bringing me contraction and something else? Right? So that being said, I decided to just withdraw my original inquiry and excitement to offer a workshop there, because it wasn't exciting to me. It didn't fit the construct in which they were doing it. Is old, and it didn't make sense to me anymore. Because in my eyes now, we need to honor each other's work. Right? Honor each other's work, so that uplifting is uplifting everybody in a way that has equanimity in it, and it's of the heart, and it's not, and the business transactions are more meaningful of the heart, and they're better communicated, right? It's not just pulling the plug right away, right? So part of this too was, we didn't, like with certain sound baths that I was there once a month. And I'm sure I'm still going to be there filling in, because I like filling in there, and it's easier on my schedule too. And I hope they continue to have me there. And but it's like, we didn't see the right things that they wanted book-wise, business-wise. Well, that makes sense. But that criticism could, and I believed I talked about this before, that criticism could have come on after the first session, where together we could have brainstormed, changed some things up with far as marketing goes, so it could have been more aligned and clear for perhaps the consumer, but still aligned within my own heart and still aligned within their business, right? The collaboration is multifaceted. It's not one directional, right? How might this also be the case in your business or employment, where managers actually talk to all their employees and get a clear vision on the direction? Right? And this also means upper management also needs to communicate better, and that's always been an issue. There's been a huge disconnect between those that do the work so you can look good versus those running the administrative stuff that also require a lot of attention. But imagine if you actually communicated more and was more transparent and not hiding behind emails and actually spending some face-to-face time with your employees and look at their vested interest in being there and take care of them in a different way. Even if it means you buy them lunch every Friday. People need, I don't even say it, not out, and it's not out of codependency. We need to know and feel cared for. And that shows up through our actions. And are you doing it through love? And that because you actually do care about your employees or the people in your life and your friends, right? Like I send my friend Claire text messages all the time, and my other friend Chantel, because that's how we think of each other, and we're always like, it's this fun way of caring, right? And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to cost money, but it does bring something to your community. So bringing it back to the business piece, if you really cared about, and it doesn't mean it has to be me, but the practitioner and their, say, sound bath, if there's another person, that their sound bath be successful. What if you actually communicated more and said, hey, let's try changing the marketing and adjust it and see what happens there? And also take a bigger look. Okay, is this a common time of year that we have downturn in attendance? What holidays were occurring? Other things that play an impact. Then make a decision and just say, okay, you know what, let's run it a little bit longer. Going to augment the marketing and then let's see. Right? Instead of pulling out the momentum from both parties, right? Because all that's going to create is animosity potentially. It can create doubt in the other person performing. It can create all these things potentially. Granted, you have the power to just be like trust and be guided, right? If it's not a pay attention if there's resistance and if you're being guided toward a different direction for yourself. And only you can know that because you have to pay attention to your sensory body. This is part of your third eye activation. You're getting downloads all the time, and it's time to listen. It's time to act with love from your higher self into the physical plane, into your multisensory being, because you're also, those of you that are very much connected to the Lemurian codes within you and your Lemurian contacts, it's all heart-centered living. It's all heart-centered, soul-inspired living. And this Lemurian seed code says here, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, living with grace. So those of you are recognizing you're highly sensitive, but are you actually paying attention to it and acting through your truth and authenticity with it? Because I can tell you the past, I'll say, for a long time, I have not been aligned with being in my authenticity as I'm connecting to my heart and speaking my divinity from my I am presence fully. Yes, is it there? Absolutely, because I've made a lot of choices from that place for the highest good of all parties involved. Because when you connect to your Stargate, your Akashic Stargate, your Akashic record, that is a multifaceted view that supports you seeing things from a larger view and perspective from all parties involved as you make your choices. And maybe bring in a lesson, a soul lesson for yourself. And also you can help clear your soul star chakra a bit by accessing your Akashic record. Okay? And that takes some training. It takes a lot of integrity. You have to let go of your personal identity and humble up. Be humble and graceful and full of grace when accessing this record for yourself. And you're not to access it without permission from others. Like if you're someone that's further along and go, oh, I can access that of other people. No, you have to have permission, and you're not meant to just go in there and poke around at everything. You have to have purpose there. It reminds me of when I worked in records in our law enforcement. Right to know, need to know. Both had to be there. Do you have a reason to know, and is there a need? Is it going to support the highest good of yourself in the situation to bring clarity so you can bring down the wisdom through the third eye, because that component is expanding and becoming, there's a convergence happening, right? So the higher chakras are converging into the lower chakras. The lower chakras are also coming up because they're operating at a higher frequency. And I always view it as the heart as the center gateway. And I'm starting to see this as just one giant sphere of light that's just going to boom. It's going to just totally come together in this level for those of you that are bridging all this together. And then it's just going to radiate out. It's going to radiate out. And that reminds me of, this is how, if any of you were ever curious with my my logo, right? Don't worry about all this advertisement, but the logo itself is all those spheres, okay? But then the larger piece here, maybe this one could show up, there's also spheres that come out the other way. Now when you turn it vertical, it's also this convergence of all these spheres. As we move from the horizontal plane, we're coming into this convergence, we're bringing ourselves in from the lateral, from this earthly realm, into our pillar of light, into your pillar of light, going vertical, meaning you are connecting to divine source all the time. So the chaos of the external world you are no longer a part of. And then there's this convergence of these spheres that come into your heart center, and then the expansion of the light comes out in every direction, 360 degrees. And that also, like, as your third eye convergence happens as well, even though it looks like it's expanding because it's enveloping, because our mind needs a picture, it's beginning to expand and open up in your ears. The pineal glands, right? The third eye center internally, your right and left hemisphere are coming into coherence and operating in a harmonic way. So that means your masculine and feminine energies of creation and manifesting are happening. You're clearing the wisdom of your soul. You're harmonizing your soul, coming into different levels of forgiveness through Christ consciousness energies. And in a way that you haven't before, and that brings freedom. That brings liberation and freedom to your entire being. That being said, those of you stepping through that threshold and really leaving your old world and way behind, and truly surrendering to the divine will within yourself and the light, your heart. There may be some little tendrils that try to keep you in the past. Let them go. Let them go, because it doesn't serve you. Bring in the highest good of all of it. Connect to your Akashic record. And if you don't know how to do that, I can assist you with that. I do readings for that. You can just email me. I'll leave my email in the link below. Those of you on Facebook, you can just direct message me, because it can bring guidance to you if you're facing some challenges for your highest good in this present moment, and it can have the potential to bring clarity and propel you forward. Because all of the work that I do, whether it's body work, chakra balancing, light body activation, it's about harmonizing you so you can move forward within your life, within your light body, within your spiritual practice, and recognize it's one and the same. It's one and the same. The unseen and the physical is one and the same. Okay? So your Lemurian codes of light coming in, and you're working with your sensitivity and your empathic ability, your psychic ability, your clairs coming online. The angelic frequency is highly accessible to all of you. It lives inside you. You are not separate from the angelic realm. Archangel Metatron is one of the archangels that's become much more talked about now, and more is revealed about him and his energies. And I say him because he holds a masculine quality, and he holds the stellar gateway chakra and the Akashic records as a guardian of those records, and governs the ascension process. This is a whole process of expansion. So you can contact that energy because it lives within you. You are not separate from that energy. But it can, just like working with any other guide, it's not giving your power over to that guide. It's not giving your power over to anything. This is about you stepping into your power and being guided from your highest aspect on how you make your own choices and heal yourself. So it's through that education that you begin to learn to heal yourself, mind, body, spirit. And the angelic realm is there to support you in that through love. Through love. And through nurturing. Hold on. Let's see. Oh yeah, service. Okay, through service of light. Through whatever acts of service you do. Whether it means you just say you're kind to everyone every day, or maybe you internally send love to people that you walk across the street. That's being in service. That's doing it from the heart. Okay, again, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It just matters that you're doing it, and just be kind. It's that simple. Just be kind. Just be kind. Acknowledge each other. Right? But you're also having healthier boundaries for yourself, too. And so are others. And those are the people you're going to begin to attract to you that are in resonance with you, right? So you can begin to call in your soul family. So that being said, all my notes, Nanja, third eye, expanding, throat, ears, glands, pituitary, higher heart thymus. Okay, you can work with the color of aquamarine for your higher heart. You can even assist in clearing your throat chakra a little bit with that, too. And your third eye, it can, because it also connects to your higher chakras. So you have that lavender that connects with the crown, the soul star, and then you have the blue in communication, right? Archangel Michael, for those of you that connect with, it's the blue ray, Archangel Michael for communication. All right, so some of that, because it's very calming, and it made sense while I was at the beach all morning on this beautiful day, and it's been a hot day. And we're gonna do a little bit of the higher heart cleanse too, and just trust that you're gonna receive exactly what you need from these colors. I know I'm spraying quite quickly. Just know you don't have to receive it as quickly as I just did. Just ask your soul, it's like, hey, let me receive those energies for purity and harmonizing those chakras related to my higher heart, my third eye center, my solar soul star, the components to the third eye that are being activated, ears as well, right? And just trust you're going to get it exactly what you need. That being said, we're going to bring in some Earth Star Chakra Archangel Soundathon to assist with grounding some of us and myself, because I can feel I'm talking. Came in during the solstice. Okay, came in during the solstice, and it was a big heart opening as well. But golden light, and gold can help break stuff up too. And then anytime even in the healing work that I do and any studies I've done, whenever we've released stuff, we bring in that golden light, that golden white light to come in and fill those spaces. So I invite you to also visualize that golden light coming into your crown, filling your body, and let that love that you're connected to, your source energy that we're all connected to, that unity and oneness of all that is, come in through your body, through the crown, and go all the way down into the earth and back up. And even as I'm looking, the back of these cards have a really beautiful image too. It's all contained. We're all there. We're in it. all of us are together. You're safe here. You're safe in the angelic realm. You're safe to be yourself now. There's no more excuses to be anything else. There's no more excuses to be anything but peace and love, nurturing and caring. Self-care. This is a lot about self-care, especially for those of you that are highly empathic. Self-care is huge. Do self-care. And then, like, for me, it was going to the beach all day, didn't take my phone, didn't take any electronics, and Lord knows there's plenty of stuff I need to be doing or have on my plate to do. But it was a bigger need for me to be in the water for self-care, right? And connection here. This is also about you connecting to your authentic self. Again, third eye, heart chakra. It even goes down into your solar plexus, your root chakra, your tribe, right? And who you are. Because now, this is what came in before. In Lemurian connection to those codes, it's love. It's your relationships through love, through a totally different way than you've ever realized. And it's not just romantic relationships. Every relationship operating through love. Friendships, family, friends, work, gardening, making your bed, like how you treat your electronics, how you treat yourself, how you treat, all of it through love. Because even in the transitions, when you part ways, that all of that is done through love. Because the Lemurians lived extremely harmoniously. And this card I'm actually going to read about in just a second, because it feels pertinent to some of you, many of us out there. So again, this convergence of our divine will, our source connection, and embodying that is occurring. Being in this earthly plane, it's occurring. Higher frequencies were raised, our chakras are expanding, but also converging into one harmonious sphere and operating. Some of us are getting to a point where we're operating at a higher place of self-mastery through love, through forgiveness, through grace, generosity, giving. There was something, gratitude. To be in gratitude for all these experiences, because everything, it got you to this place. So even as I read this slowly, right? Because you can choose you can choose how you go through and what seeds you want to plant and what you want to feed. But you're also going to feel the experience of that. All these things, there's no good or bad. It's all unity. It all brings you back to yourself. Everything brings you back to self. It's unity consciousness. There is no light or dark. There just is what is. And the more you live with your heart, the rest take a total different shape, because you're no longer putting energy into the old way of operating. That was never really real to begin with. All of us are walking this new life together and writing our new history, our new way of being. That Akashic record has blank pages, and you get to create, and then you can get to recreate. You can let go of some of you that think you have contracts that you have to live up to, and you don't. You can let those go. I talked about one recently where I could feel it, and I'm like, no, you know what? I don't need to do that contract anymore. And literally, in reality, it just went away. I'm just like, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to be on the abuse of someone else because they created their life to be lonely and a martyr and choose to stay in a victim mindset and kind of poop on everyone else around them, and makes the choices so unwilling to help themselves, even though they know they've verbally said that they need help, and they choose not to get it. So they prefer just to continue to complain and put themselves in this place of, well, I do this and I do that and nobody helps me. but not recognizing how is she helping herself. We've all been there. I could hear my own voice in that, right? Where I can see myself in her years and years and years ago. And maybe every now and then I fall back into that lower vibrational state, but it's so brief that I'm like, no, no, no. And then I get reminded, where do I want to plant my seeds and how do I want my garden to be? And with that, the people that I will attract will be in accordance to the love and care I give my garden, and the love and care that, you know, because we are the garden. Even though I might have my garden, it's really not separate from your garden if we're all taking care of each other in our gardens and we all come into harmony. There's the bigger garden that we're all taking care of, and the earth. And we come together in humanity as a united force, a united heart, a united energy for the common good of all that is in life and the interconnectedness we have woven together through life, because we've never been separate from it. It just felt that way. And so come back to your heart and just love. And it may be hard at first, but it gets easier, and then you just do it. Step through that threshold. I think that was even in one of the day 8 of the Christ Consciousness deck. The doorway is open. Just step through it. The doorway to be nurtured and cared for, just step through it. It's there, and let everything else go away. And that place is there for you anytime you want it to be, until it just is. So you keep doing that until it just is all the time. Until you just become it. You become that place. You become that new earth. You become the peace. You become the love and the calm and all of it. Right? So it's this new construct, right? As I was breaking it down over the chakra system a little bit, the root, that new tribe, calling in the tribe, okay? When I sat here, I'm like, well, how's it affecting the chakra system, right? Because our first tribe was the family we were born into, and then we may have a lot of different tribes, right? I mentioned sports, that's a tribe. Maybe you're a part of a team at school, like a class, an academic one, that's a tribe. Then you have your other friends that you hang out with and maybe play pickleball, that's a tribe, right? But now you're going beyond that, and as you, again, we're going into that pillar of light, because here's that angelic realm is also a pillar of light that you're within, right? We see all these things, pillars of light, okay? The pillar of light that I talk about, that you bring yourself into, that the logo turns into, because you're coming out of this parallel world into a vertical and then sphere of all that is, okay? So now you're calling in your tribe, the unseen tribe that is felt. It's the energetic tribe. And you're building on those relationships, and that moves it into the sacral. Okay, so you have your tribe, that unseen tribe that is felt, and it exists because the thinning between veils is thin now. It's there for us all the time. The angelic realm is there for you and very prevalent right now. The ascended master guides are there for you because you're not separate from it. It lives within you. You're not giving your power over to anything, and if you are, then I would question that. Even someone that you get taught from. If you're giving your power over to a teacher or some sort of person that claims to be a guru, or you've placed them in that title on your own accord, there's all this and this and that. You're forgetting that they too are human and that you have the power. If you see someone's attributes, that is within you. And don't put anybody or yourself on a pedestal, because we are aspects of each other. But tend to your own garden, and do not be blinded by the light you see in someone else, because as your clairvoyance is coming, your third eye and soul is being activated more, your ability of sight and multi-sensory being, Someone could be very good at showing their light, but not to forget their human experience occurring too. So you can't, nobody can hide anymore. When you're being in the truth of all that is, nobody can hide themselves from you anymore. Just like when I ran into all these people that are of my past, and I recognized, like, wow, they are still in a similar place than when I left them. They can't hide that, and I can't unsee it. And I don't want to unsee it, because I still want to be treating them with love, because I was excited to see all of them, but still reminded, like, oh, yeah, you're in that place that I don't want to be and I don't want to perpetuate. And one of those things was like sexualizing not just people, but another woman sexualizing women, and then condoning that behavior for another man to go sexualize women and objectify them. Right? Because I was at the beach, and I'm going to share this because perhaps some of you have some of these qualities in you. Right? Because that's part of our sacral, that's part of our relationships, how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves. Right? It's time to raise that up, and that does not go into that new world. Right? So she made some comment on how last week, I guess at the beach, there's been a lot more people wearing, there's different type of bathing suits, right? Some are G-strings. I like more of the little short, brief kind of things. More active wear, right? And she said, oh yeah, I should have told so-and-so, because then he could come and come check it out. Meaning looking at kind of half-naked women. Sexualizing each other in a way that's objectifying and not of the highest good. That type of energy and way of being no longer serves us, not that it ever did. So I cannot unknow that. Right? All it tells me is like, oh wow, where I left, I made the right choice because that energy was very present, and I'm like, I can't work there. Right? And it still continues. So that being said, that's our sacral chakra in some ways. In a lot of ways. But it also affects our heart, our way of being. How did I grow up? What am I trying to fill with that? What are you trying to fill with that type of energy? Misqualified energy, I'll say. Because it's also abuse of your personal power. Again, your garden. How do you want to tend to your garden? What power? Where are you putting it? Right? Where are you putting it? And who's going to be attracted to that? Because it'll magnetize based on you. It'll magnetize based on you. So some of you out there may need some more tending to that area of your body and to your root, because it works together. Remember, all this is converging. So any of those energies that are lesser than love, it's coming to the surface for you to look at and how you're operating. And it's only up to you to choose differently. Choose through love. That is choose the Lumerian way of being in relationship with yourself and with others. Highly in so much integrity, so much grace, so much love for each other, and honoring the light of each other, and treating each other as such, with sacredness, with generosity, with love, in every way. The way they speak, the way they nurture, even going in and out of relationships for those that are romantic too, in deciding when to have family together. Right? So they may be dating somebody or seeing someone, but that's not the person they're meant to bring life into this world. And they both recognize that, and they move on to a different relationship where they can parent together because that was the better fit to bring a child in. And they handle it gracefully and with love because that was for the highest good of all beings. And that's not to say maybe they, you don't go back to someone else, because that we all know that happens too. So we're going to begin to see more and more honoring in the way we're in and out of relationships, and those we choose to bring life into this world with, those we choose to build collaborations with, to build projects with and birth something, even if it's not necessarily another life, but it's other contribution to life. Okay? So you're manifesting in that reality differently, and it's more harmonious. So we're going to just spray a little or Archangel Raphael to bring in some harmony and balance to these areas, to the sacral. Okay, and if some of you need some more, like maybe you have some trauma to that area, those areas, bring in that orange ray. That orange ray will assist in absorbing trauma. If you like working with Archangel Metatron, call on him to help with that orange ray, and it'll assist you. And then bring in that purity. It's a highly emotional, highly connected to the heart, right? Relationships are highly connected to the heart. They're not separate. And your throat and communication, okay? And the higher wisdom coming in. This is where you have to be more effective, more thoughtful and mindful, and in alignment. This is being in alignment with your light body, your energetic system, and how it shows up for you, through you. How are you living and creating the reality that you are existing in? So moving this is about self-empowerment. The navel chakra is highly active and holds the 5-dimensional frequencies into the solar plexus. But remember, these lower chakras all act as a unit, so it impacts the sacral as well and the root. It's interesting how my throat kind of lost some energy there. But this is about you coming into an empowered state. It's a new construct. So I was talking about business relationships and work. It's in time for a new construct. It's no longer this singular funnel. Oh, if you take this work, if you do my class, then I'll put more effort into you, or that everything just feeds one directional and you're not sharing the wealth of that. Right? Or you're trying to hold people into contracts, agreement that limits their ability to be prosperous because you're afraid of someone else opening competition. And versus, you know what, they're really good at what they do. Anyone that I can't support, I can refer them to that person because maybe their specialty is a little bit different than yours. And you can stay in the sweetness of your garden, you can grow their garden, and you can develop really beautiful collaborative relationships. Especially, I notice in women, this is still a big problem. Well, it's also with men too. And that divine feminine energy coming in as well, and no longer being threatened by it. And it is changing. But I keep seeing it over and over. Women not honoring each other's businesses, being threatened by each other's businesses, not being able to actually articulate and communicate and negotiate, right? It's immediate yes or no. No negotiating, saying, hey, you know what, I can't afford that rate, but what about this? Are you willing to do it for this? Immediately it's like, no, I'm done. No. And that's fine too. You can do that. I've done that before when it felt necessary to. But I know for myself, I want to keep that line of communication open. I don't care to burn bridges just because I didn't like a response I got. Because it's really about that, like if I didn't like it, it's really about me. Something in me is getting hit and triggered. If I can't open my heart to like, oh, what's here for me, and then respond differently after I pay attention what information is in the emotions, right? It's just information coming through the sensory body. And how might my higher self respond to that? Through love. How about my Lomarian way of being, or any other being of light, respond through love, right? Because they all master that. They all master love. To be able to hold higher frequencies of energy within yourself and learn more about yourself, you have to hold love and higher abilities and frequencies of love, grace, gratitude, generosity, and integrity. and not be in there. It's not in this rigidness sort of way. It's very encapsulating and nurturing, and it's in the Christ consciousness way, the Buddha way. Because you aren't different. You're not separate from those energies. It's in the angelic way. It's being in the truth of all that is, and you need to tell yourself the truth, right? I was watching again, Daisy Jones and the Six, and there, for those of you who watched it, right? Her friend goes to Greece. I can't remember when she was gonna get married to that guy, that prince or whatever, and what's her friend tells her? The friends will tell you the truth even if you don't want to hear it. Your friends will tell you the truth. So why don't you be your best friend? Stop telling yourself lies and tell yourself the truth about yourself. Tell yourself the truth about yourself. Especially the things you don't want to tell about yourself, but you darn well know that's how you operate. And you can either choose to harmonize that within your body and figure out that root cause and allow that root cause to actually be the nutrients that allowed you to propel forward. Kind of like the weeds can nurture the soil, you let them dry out and all that nutrients in the weeds, because weeds have a lot of nutrients in them and people turn them into medicinal teas and whatnot. How might that same thing metaphorically within you, energetically, when you know your root cause and you're willing to look at it and be like, you know what, I'm done with that inner battle and I want to forgive every aspect of it within myself and the other parties involved, let that set you free. Let your forgiveness of it all set you free, and in that action sets the other parties free energetically. And I've witnessed it and I've seen it happen. And there's this palpable exhalation that happens because we all breathe the same air. We all live and breathe the same air. And when you free yourself, you free others. When you heal yourself, you heal others. And it gives the ability for the emotions that people are harboring to find peace within themselves, because you found peace within you and forgiveness within all of it. And you let go of trying to tend to someone else's garden because you tended to your own and kind of stayed in your lane. And being in service to the light. Okay, remembering to be in service to the light and align with your purpose, with your soul's purpose. And when you do that, everything else will continue to align and unfold for you just as it's meant to be. Just as it's meant to be. And it won't be with resistance anymore, because you're stepping further and further into the trust of your third eye, the trust of the wisdom and downloads coming through, the trust of your divine connection to all that is, your divine connection, your potent connection, that golden light. And then you live in that your temple of truth, not just what you think is true, but the truth of what is. Because you're no longer telling yourself lies. You're no longer sugarcoating things for other people or situations. It's just what is, right? You get the higher guidance and access the Akashic record of your soul when needed only for the bigger picture. And then you bring that in and you live in your authenticity through the throat, through the heart, through the third eye, and you live in that expression of love. You live in the expression of love in your I am presence. So it's all converging. You'll be in your empowered state. And when you're in your empowered state, nothing knocks you down. You just stay grounded. Nothing affects you emotionally in the same way. If it does, you process through that a heck of a lot quicker, and you are always staying grounded because now you're getting used to this new foundation and way of being. But be willing to be truthful with yourself. When you're truthful with yourself, you are truthful with others, and you will heal your body. You will heal your body. And I'm not saying don't go see doctors or anything like that, because we need them to. They have purpose. Until we can manage our entire energetic system and be completely purified and in the oneness of all energy, of source energy, mastering the alchemy of that violet flame and ray of purity and ascension. And you can oscillate your cells to their highest frequency in divine blueprint, in the resurrection flame, that golden and violet light. Until you can master that, right? We still need those things that help keep us well. Sometimes we do need a doctor. Sometimes you do need a surgeon. Sometimes you do need a therapist. But imagine if you begin to use all these resources to manage your wellness. And I know for me, this is, it becomes apparent to me more and more each day why I've expanded in my ability to work with the body physically, the emotional and mental pieces, through the energetics of it, and bringing in the power of color and the Metatron color healing sprays. Because it's through the power of the color of the system, of your system, the light body, because that is energy, it's light. All these colors are light because you are light. Your body responds to that, and your willingness to allow it to work with you, allow the innate wisdom of light to run through you and heal you, is very powerful. And the more you surrender to the light within you and bring it in, the more you will find healing in yourself. And it looks different for everybody, right? Because if you're going through an illness journey, maybe your healing looks different. Right? Maybe it's not the actual physical healing, but the way you've gone through life is healed. Something else. The unseen portions, but it's very palpable in the way you journey life. Because the soul is infinite. The soul is infinite, so that is healed. You're healing and bringing forth certain lessons, right? There's some soul contracts we're meant to go through, but only your soul knows that. And there's others that we don't even have to do anymore. You don't have to be in suffering. You don't have to be in pain in the same way. You can just choose to be in love with all of it, and in harmony, in balance with all of it. And yeah, it may sound simple, but once you get to a certain level, it is that simple. But you have to be willing to get there and be in service, devotion, and commitment to your authenticity and your true essence, as the angelic realm reminds us to be. So I'm going to leave you with that, because this is about being your authentic self in your empowered state, your state of power, personal power, to step fully into embodiment of your true essence, your I am presence. And that too, my friends, is just a stage. And to be humble in that process. But I encourage you to step through that threshold and to do the things that assist your body stay harmonized with the integration of your spirit, of your essence. And like I was saying before, this is what everything I do when I work with the body is to support someone's harmonization within themselves. This is why I have a certain group of people I talk to that know how to hold a certain level of vibration, and then I get these lovely reminders like this to bring me back to my center, because I have to do that work. But I have people in my life, all of life guides me back to my center, back to my heart. So everything you've done in your life to this point has brought you back here. So choose to step through that gateway, that portal, that convergence. Allow it to happen. Pay attention to when you feel resistance, and then go back to allowance. Connect to your divine self, and allow that energy in and out through the breath. Feed your body through the light of food, through the light of sun and stars, through the light of color. There's a reason why you're drawn to certain colors. There's a reason why you might be drawn to the water right now. It's very reminiscent of the vastness of your soul and yourself, but not to be afraid of the depth of who you are. Just let it come through, and you'll get the downloads exactly as you need it. You'll get the foresight exactly as you need it, when you need it, and then to take loving action in those steps. So I'm Gina Levito, Soul Inspired Reflections. I'm happy to assist you along the way. You can email me at gina@soulinspiredreflections.com. Have a really blessed day. Go do something fun and grounding. Be in your heart center. And my much love to all of you.